Once again Yi Jae wakes up in the dark room, finding Death laughing at him. However, he isn't bothered because he didn't give the woman the exact location of the money, so he plans to retrieve it during his next life. When Death shoots him, Yi Jae's fifth life starts in juvie. He's in a tiny cell and he can't help freaking out, but luckily a guard comes over to take him to his real cell. On their way there, the other prisoners throw a ball against the fencing as a threat, even looking at him creepily. In the cell, he discovers he's got cellmates and learns that he'll be released in 4 days. He's also told that a psychopathic killer is staying in the cell with them, and Yi Jae notices all the creepy art and books about psychopathic analysis on the shelves. At that moment the psychopathic murderer is brought back and Yi Jae is shocked to see it's Jinsang. Remembering his previous death, Yi Jae begins beating him up, but the other prisoners immediately pull him away. At that moment the glowing pebble finally comes to his mind and Yi Jae learns this body belongs to an MMA fighter. The guy's family was in some trouble with a gang and needed money quickly, so he accepted a deal. He took the fall for a hit and run and would get rewarded with 200 million after the trial. Since he was 18 he was still a minor in Korea, so the plan was to quickly be released on probation. While making the deal with the lawyer, a man watched them from the shadows while playing with a lighter. The guy turned himself in with a fake confession, but sadly during the trial, the woman who was hit died, so the judge sentenced him to 2 years of imprisonment for manslaughter. Later when the lawyer visited him in prison, the guy asked for 2 billion to keep quiet or he would tell the police everything. Another memory shows Yi Jae the arrival of Jinsang and how he said a bunch of creepy but dumb things as if he was pretending to be a psychopath to scare the others and be in control. Back in the present, Yi Jae starts laughing as he realizes Jinsang isn't a psychopath, he's here because he killed the high school boy. Yi Jae begins slapping Jinsang as he calls him out in front of the others, telling them the truth. Jinsang is too afraid to deny it and the rest of the cellmates beat him up for revenge. When they get time out in the backyard, other prisoners start bothering Jinsang too, which Yi Jae finds very satisfying. Later the group has carpentry lessons and a prisoner shoots the blade from his saw at Yi Jae, who dodges just in time. The blade ends up bouncing on the wall and killing another guy instead. Yi Jae yells for help and after the guards take the injured man away, all the other prisoners grab some tools while telling Yi Jae that the lawyer wants him dead. Ji Young immediately rushes out in fear before a fight ensues, and Yi Jae gets to enjoy the body's amazing MMA fighting skills. With quick and precise strikes, he fights all the prisoners at the same time, knocking them down one by one with a combination of punching, kicking, and using any object in the room. At that moment Ji Young comes back with a crowbar and Yi Jae realizes he wanted to help, so he decides to befriend him. That night, Yi Jae finds Jinsang in the washroom sharpening a tool to kill him. After punching him, Yi Jae considers killing him first, but that would get him more jail time. Instead he decides to traumatize Jinsang by saying he sees the ghost of the dead schoolboy, sharing details of his previous life that only he would know. When he says the ghost will haunt him forever, Jinsang ends up wetting his pants in fear. Eventually the day of Yi Jae's release finally arrives and before leaving, he gives Jinsang some milk, saying it was sent by the ghost. Outside the lawyer is waiting for him with the money but Yi Jae turns it down, telling him he wants to live a clean life from now on. Sometime later, he makes it to the pier and finds the money he hid in the other life, unaware someone is following him. Now he's ready to start a new life, so he rents a room and takes a nap. He wakes up when he feels his mother touching his face, but it turns out to be just a dream. At that moment his phone rings with a call from the mom of this body, so a crying Yi Jae accepts to visit her soon. Later at the station, Yi Jae separates the money into 2 bags and puts one away in a locker, which will be confiscated if he doesn't return after 4 days. When he arrives at his hometown, Yi Jae gets attacked from behind and stabbed by an old man who turns out to be the father of the victim of the hit and run. He had been furious that the killer could get away with just 2 years because of his age, so he came looking for revenge. Yi Jae apologizes and tells him he didn't do it, but at that moment they hear footsteps and the man runs away. Suddenly Ji Young shows up and runs to help him, only to suddenly take out a knife too. The day of the fight, he'd actually gone out to look for a weapon to kill Yi Jae for the lawyer's reward, but when he came back it was already over so he pretended to be a nice guy. Yi Jae tries to buy him off, but Ji Young doesn't believe he has money and proceeds to stab him multiple times. Soon Yi Jae dies while the phone rings with a call from the mom. Once again, Yi Jae wakes up in the dark room and only exchanges a few words with Death before he gets shot again. To his horror, he discovers his 6th life begins as a baby. He starts crying in the middle of a restaurant, so the mother apologizes to everyone and takes him to her car. There she shows her true face, angrily throwing a tantrum and yelling at the baby for being an annoyance. Because he's in a newborn body with no memories, the glowing pebble never comes. The mother takes the baby to her home and carelessly throws him on the couch, where he's gently picked up by the father. Yi Jae thinks the man may be nicer, but soon he shows his true face too. He brings over expired food and when Yi Jae refuses to eat it, he starts yelling and insulting him too. At that moment a cop arrives with a social worker, who has received a report about a potential case of abuse. They come inside and try to check on the baby's body, but the father interrupts them to show them his business card, proving he's also a social worker for child welfare. The duo apologizes for the misunderstanding and leaves, so now the mother is furious and drops the baby on the floor to then kill him with a pillow. When he appears in the dark room, Death explains that sometimes not even babies get a chance, so Yi-jae shouldn't take life for granted. Then she shoots him. Yi-jae's seventh life starts outside the train station, and using the phone in his pocket he notices his locker is about to expire. He rushes into the station as he bumps into a bunch of people and makes it to the lockers right before the employees open them. After retrieving his money, Yi-jae sees his reflection and discovers his new face is in advertisements around the station. The glowing pebble reaches his mind and he learns he's in the body of a model who was popular since high school. A modeling career came easy thanks to his looks, and now he has lots of money because of it. Excited, Yi-jae goes to his new house and discovers it's incredibly fancy, so he's eager to keep this life. He also finds a newspaper and learns that the baby's parents were caught for the murder. The death of the MMA fighter and the traffic accidents from the bike chase are also in the news, but nobody knows what caused them. Then he gets a call from a friend inviting him to a VIP party, and Yi-jae decides to join. He drinks a lot because that's what he's used to, but the model's body is lightweight and he ends up drunker than planned. During the party, he's surprised to see Tae-yu, who is now CEO thanks to his brother's death. The next morning, Yi-jae oversleeps because of his hangover, so the brother he has in this life has to come to wake him up. The guy is going to the USA for a week and the model had promised to take care of his cafe, so now Yi-jae has a new job to do. During his first work day, Yi-jae already considers closing the cafe after his brother leaves. However, he gets a big shock when sees Jisoo come inside. Staring in awe, Yi-jae remembers all the special moments together and the day they met, which happened when the wind blew away Jisoo's papers and Yi-jae found them. Yi-jae is very nervous when he gives Jisoo her order to the point his hands are shaking. His brother explains she comes every day to work and stays until closing time, also that she's a published author. Curious, Yi-jae searches her name on the internet and discovers she won a writing contest and got a publishing deal. When she received her prize, she thanked her boyfriend for always believing in her. The envelope she tried to show him that day hadn't been pity money, it was her prize. Feeling guilty, Yi-jae rushes to the bookshop to buy Jisoo's book because he remembers her saying she put her personal experiences in her stories. As he reads the novel, he discovers many of the story beats match their moments together, like the day he was jealous of her coworker and they told "I love you" to each other. As he cries, Yi-jae also sees that the bookshop sells the fancy pen that he promised he would gift her one day. He did buy the pen in secret and engraved her name on it, but it got lost when he was moving all his things under the rain. Later at the cafe, the guy that he saw the other day with the flowers arrives with a woman and a little girl that calls Jisoo auntie. Feeling like an idiot, Yi-jae realizes this is Jisoo's brother, and decides to keep the cafe open the whole week just for her. The next day, Yi-jae takes Jisoo's order with less anxiety and gives her some cake on the house, saying he's a fan of his book. He also pretends he has an idea for a story, telling him about Lady Death and all the lives he's been going through as if it was happening to the character. Then Yi-jae asks her to sign her book and is shocked to see she has the engraved pen. It turns out his mother picked up all his things after his death and gave Jisoo the pen after the funeral. During the next few days, Jisoo keeps going to the cafe and Yi-jae sits down with her to chat for a while. One evening, Jisoo wonders why the protag of the story hasn't visited his mother yet, and Yi-jae says it would be too painful. Soon after she leaves, Yi-jae sees police cars pass by and hears from a client that a regular customer was caught in an accident. Assuming the worst, Yi-jae runs down the street and screams when he sees the blood on the street, so the cops have to hold him back. At that moment Yi-jae sees Jisoo among the crowd and calms down. Jisoo approaches him to thank him for caring so much and shares that she felt the same when she got a call about her boyfriend's death to the point she had a breakdown in the hospital's reception. The next day, Jisoo visits Yi-jae's resting place and cries as she says she misses him, which is seen from afar by Yi-jae. After she leaves, Yi-jae dares to approach his own memorial, only to suddenly bump into his mother. Pretending he's here for another person, Yi-jae leaves the room, not daring to talk to her. He watches from afar and sees her clean the memorial before running to the restroom to cry her heart out. Not being able to take it, Yi-jae runs outside and has a breakdown. Later Yi-jae writes a letter to his mother pretending to be a friend, saying that Yi-jae left her some money after his death. He goes to his old house and leaves the letter with the bag of money from his other life, running away fast after seeing his old pictures. On the street, a sign suddenly falls from its hinges and falls on Yi-jae, instantly killing him, but it turns out to be just a dream. The next day after another afternoon of chatting with Jisoo, Yi-jae offers to walk her home, remembering the times they used to walk hand in hand. Overwhelmed by emotions, Yi-jae finally confesses the whole truth to her as some flashbacks show how Jisoo's office co-workers would make fun of her for dating a waiter. However, Jisoo would introduce Yi-jae proudly to them, not letting them insult their relationship. Yi-jae apologizes to Jisoo for leaving her, but before she can react, they're suddenly hit by a fancy car. Jisoo dies instantly, but Yi-jae is still alive and sees the face of the driver. It's Tae-yu. Yi-jae realizes he's the guy with the lighter and he's been connected to every life he's gone through. The lawyer is also in the car, but he runs away when he sees the bodies, and when Tae sees Yi Jae is still alive, he puts on gloves to finish him off. Soon Yi Jae wakes up in the dark room, and he's so furious that he rushes to take Death's gun and shoots her in the head. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.